Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Congratulations. You've made it to Broker Call. This is episode 6, if you can believe that. Time is flying by. It is January 23rd, and I feel like we say this all the time, like, wow, I can't believe January is already over. We just started the new year. But that is an amazing thing, in my honest opinion. I think that's like the best thing that we can have, simply because, as you guys all know, the deeper we get into the year, the better it is for everything multifamily, especially in multifamily. I don't know how many people here right now are actively calling and talking to brokers. Just like raise your hand if you got your camera, or put it in the chat. See what we got going on. Now, let me ask you guys something. Have you guys been noticing that there are more deals just popping up on your table in the last couple of days or so? Or your Gmail, I should say. And if not, I really actually want to go over that with you and see why not. That'll actually be a good one. But before we jump in any further, I have to make sure I introduce my guy, the leader of the gang, Mr. Billionaire Pete himself. How are you, Peter?
Doing fine, Eddie. Thanks for joining me again today for our 6th episode together. That's amazing. This is my 13th time doing this total, which blows me away. I can't believe we've been doing it that long, but and people are still showing up, which is even more amazing. I figured I'd scare them all off by now, but thanks everybody for being here. Excited to have you with us today. It's good. I know there's a couple of new faces that I don't think have been with us before. Definitely have some people that are coming back, which is awesome. Come back and bring your friends. That's all we ask. So a couple goals for today that I just, obviously number one is to make broker calls. My whole goal in doing this is to encourage people to make these calls, because I saw a huge need for that. Michael Hawkins just joined us. Thanks for showing us your beautiful face there, Michael. I know Michael's probably working, but that's okay. Some of you are some other folks are probably working, and even more amazing that you show up anyway, and we appreciate that. So again, number one goal is to get you guys to take action and come back and share your wins with us. Tell us how this is helping you. I had a great win last night when, on a Zoom call, on one of our other multifamily Freedom Chasers Zoom calls, somebody told us about her win, and her win was that she called the broker last Friday, and the reason she did that was because we encouraged her to do so on these calls on Monday. So that's why we're here. People keep pouring in, and that just is amazing to see. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming back. The other goal is to network with each other, right? You've got your names in the chat. I see that. Put your phone number in there if you can. If you want to connect on Instagram, put your Instagram handle. Just this is for you guys. This isn't for me, right? This is for all of you guys to get to know each other, and then beyond that, to get known, right? Participate in this call. Bring broker names and numbers with you. Make those dials. We want to hear you have some of these phone calls. And if you're afraid to do it, raise your hand. Let's talk about it, right? Let's talk through that right here on this call. Everybody in this room is here to encourage everybody else. I can promise you. We're not going to have one person in this room that isn't going to encourage you to take action. And if somebody does show up who isn't encouraging, we're going to kick them out. So I can assure you of that. But that's really all I had to start with. Eddie, if you can take it back over, I'll start to make phone calls right away. Again, I don't have any scheduled this week. I'm continuing to try to get some scheduled during this time. That's not always the easiest thing to do, but whether we have them scheduled or not, we're going to make calls. And I would encourage you, in fact, Alicia, I think you were the one who, weren't you the one who said last night that you made calls because of this call?
Yeah, and I made some more this morning, and I actually just got a call back right before, which is why I was late.
Awesome. You want to share with us how that call went?
Sure, yeah. So I originally left a message a little while ago. And this was for a property in the Houston area. And so I just asked him what the story was behind the property, just because when I receive a phone call, I get a little flustered until I can like ground myself on, you know, which property we're talking about.
That's a great question. It's my favorite question.
Awesome. Yeah. So from there, it was actually a short conversation because
did we lose her?
It looks like she's frozen.
Yeah. If it's your internet,
oh, I think she's coming
there
back.
You go, you're back. Okay, you were frozen for like a good 10 seconds. Right when you was about to get to the good part, it just the haters came in. So if you could hit us back with that.
Yeah, so he was gonna send me over the OM, and I was like, all right, great, and the T12 and rent roll, and he's like, well, this property is kind of a financial mess. It has to be underwritten by unit and not by income, and so
we lost her again.
Lost your volume for some reason.
Yeah, I promise you, as soon as she gets to the juicy part, it happens. Try to take off your video and just do your voice and see if that helps the signal.
Oh, stop the video?
Yeah, try to stop the video.
Maybe it's a bandwidth issue. Try that.
Yeah, so I was basically asking, all right, you know, go ahead and send me over whatever you have, including T12 and rent roll if you can. And he was like, well, we don't even have a T12. The financials are a complete mess, and it will have to be underwritten by unit and not by the income. So he was explaining that they were looking for an experienced investor with at least 700 units already under their belt. So I just told them I'd take whatever information you had, take a look and bring it to my team and see what they said.
So I'll jump in on that, just because the way I would respond to something like that would be like, you know, my team has closed 1,200 units in the last 18 months. So even though I haven't closed any, right, we know plenty of people. If you're in this community, you know people that own hundreds and hundreds of doors, not just 700. So we have, you know, maybe me and you, Alicia, don't have it, but we as a team have the experience necessary to handle that deal.
Let me just say a quick sentence to dive into that. This is for everybody, especially if you're new. I want you to understand, brokers are not expecting you, the person over the phone, to be the one that's actually closing the deal. They understand that it's a team thing. And so if you don't present yourself as a team, they are most likely not taking you serious. So anytime, to what Peter is saying, anytime they're like, well, we're looking for someone who has, 700 units or more, we're like, oh, perfect. My team and the team that I am part of in the last 12 months have over 1,200 units. Does that qualify, or what do we need to do? Right? So use that, right? Because again, they're going to try to eliminate people who they don't think it has what it takes. So you have to make sure that you let them know, like, no, I'm the one you want to deal with, right? So very good advice on that, Peter. I just wanted to jump in on the tail end of that.
Thanks.
But
Absolutely.
also, I do want to say, great job. Like, that is freaking awesome. Like, that's awesome. Super,
Go,
super
Alicia.
good job. I'm looking for a sound bite to be able to give you, but I don't know what it could be. But great job. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. And also, Peter, I don't know if this was happening to you, but I was getting extremely excited listening to what the broker told you, Alicia, because all
Oh, yeah.
of that are all reasons, they're all signs that there were poor management happening. That's what that tells me. There's poor management happening, which means if there's poor management taking place, that essentially means they're dying to have someone come take this over. And for us, all that equates is discounts. Most people will look at it and be like, oh, it's not a good deal. They think it's trash, right? Oh, get rid of this one. It's not good. But in all actuality, it's one of the best things that you can actually have. A person that can send a deal like that or have a deal like that, yeah, give me as much as you can. There was I'm not sure, I think Peter, you know this, there was a guy who brought a deal and the sellers didn't even have, you see how you're educated enough, Alicia, to ask for the T12 and the rent rolls, and they literally had a yellow pad that day they were writing down who's in apartment 1, who's in apartment 2, how much they pay. That's the extent of their like bookkeeping. Needless to say, that was an amazing deal for my friend. They brought that thing basically pennies on the dollar because of all the mismanagement. So those are the signs that you want to be able to get a hold of. So they're gonna send you all that information, and then what did they say? Did they be sending it out today?
I'm not sure when, hopefully today.
Okay. What I would do is send an email over to him, and this is just more so of a follow-up email, right? So it's like, hey, just wanted to reach back out. It was great speaking with you. Glad we got a chance to connect. Looking forward to us being able to do several deals in the future together. If you have any other questions or anything, please let me know. Also, if you could give me some insight, anything would help. Let me know when you can send over the rest of the details. That way you can stay top of mind and also do the follow. And I recommend that for everybody. Even if you talk to a broker and they didn't have a deal for you, follow up with the email. Very professional. It gives you everything that you need. And listen, if you don't know what to say, I'm going to show you guys something extremely simple that you can use to help you with that. But super proud of you. Keep going. When you get that information, if you can, come to the show tomorrow night and we'll underwrite it. All right, we'll get that thing popping. I'm seeing a bunch of activity in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Sean says he met with the second largest broker in my area and they wanted me to list my stuff instead of selling me their listings. That's awesome. That is awesome. So what you're going to start realizing and recognizing, just like almost everybody else, is there's a bunch of different brokers you can talk to, but in each market, there's like 5 that run the whole thing. Like in Texas, for example, I know this for a fact, there are 5, this is all of Texas, by the way. There are 5 main brokers that essentially get all the deals. They've been in it longer, they have the right relationships, et cetera, all right? So you want to make sure you're making those connections. And this is also why you don't want to necessarily piss anybody off, right? You don't want to get on anybody's bad side because like high school, they talk, right? And what do you think happens when they all meet up for their like monthly dinner? They're like, man, did you guys hear, any crazy stories? Oh, there's this guy named Jake. Man, it's the worst. Oh, wait, I had a Jake call me too. Now Jake is blackballed by like the top 5 brokers. He got to go shop in a new market. right? We don't want that. Jake, do we want that? Is that what we want? No, we want to be able to lead with value. And so we'll go over that again tonight. My guy Jake just, bless you, baby. My guy Jake just put his information in. That's the other thing I was gonna have you do. But first, follow the advice of Peter. Look at his name. You see he changed his name and it says Peter, says where he's at, says what he does, and he gives his phone number. Change your name so that it says that. It's super, super important, guys. I'm trying to help you all do business with each other. Phil, I see you with your hands up. I'm bringing you up to the stage to speak with us. But it's super, super important for you guys to be able to do that, because if I have a deal, okay, and let's say that deal is in, let's see, Texas. Well, I can just be on this in this Zoom and I can say, man, I got this deal that literally just came in. Oh, wait, Grant's in Texas. How do I know that? Well, he put it in this thing. It says here, Grant's in Texas. Here's his phone number. I can reach out to Grant. Now we can partner on something. All right. So we want to make sure that you are doing that. And then in addition to that, when you're in the chat, you want to put all your connections, right? So you see, I just put mine. I got my email, phone number, you know, what my superpower is. And then I put what I'm looking for, right? The areas that I'm looking for. As you guys all know, I'm looking for multifamily. We're doing, you know, anything that's 100 units and up, but we're also looking at smaller units. I'm looking at anything 100 units and down as well. Just depends on what market it is. And those are my main markets there. All right. And the reason why is because I'm also doing short-term rental, mid-term rental, and affordable housing. So I'm always open, always taking a look at that. All right. So let's bring up Mr. Till to the stage. And then Peter, I got you here in the background as well. As soon as something pops up, just raise your hand and we'll bring you on stage. And that's, or just wave. And that's for everybody, right? Anyone that is on here, if you're calling right now while we're kind of going through some things and you have a broker, hit us with the wave. All right. Act like you used to do back in high school and college and you think you knew the dance moves, just do whatever that was. And we'll be able to see them bring you onto the stage. And what we'll do is we'll have everybody else mute out and we'll listen to the live broker call. So, Ms. Simmons, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. Are you kidding me? We're making broker calls. This is where the money is made. I'm excited.
That's right. I'm excited to be here. I just wanted to give some feedback. My name is Cecily, by the way. It's pronounced Cecily.
Sorry, Cecily. Nice.
No problem. No worries. I actually made some calls. I was a little nervous at first, but once I got started, just like you all said, totally receptive. I felt like nobody made me feel like I didn't know what I was talking about. And I was really prepared with the scripts and the little bit of role playing that I was able to learn here in the group. So I want to say thank you for that. And then I had a little bit of feedback. Most of the calls that I made, people were either they just sold their properties where they had like assumable financing. They didn't really have anything that met the criteria for the buy box that I was providing, because I was sourcing with the buy box that I got from y'all in the group, because I want to, you know, bring properties to the group. So that was kind of leading with that first and foremost. But I did use that, like you just said, as an opportunity, if they didn't have anything at the moment, to leave my information, to kind of get on their list and in their pipeline for if any off-market deals came up in the future that did meet that. People were really receptive to having me follow up with them. And then I also had two other little situations that were kind of, I didn't really know how to handle. One of them, I asked for the T12, the rent rolls, the P&L. And he was really like, yeah, I'll send that over to you. But he sent me something like a operating statement or something like that. It didn't really have the information that is what we are describing when we mention these documents. So I'm like, is he trying not to send it to me, or did I not ask for something, or I don't know. So I didn't know what to do after that. If he doesn't send me what, you know, you all are saying, they should know what those things are. What do you do when they don't follow up with the actual documents? That was one thing. And then the other thing was, I had a broker have 3 properties as a portfolio that they were selling. and only one of the properties had assumable loans on it. So how would you handle that? Would that be something that y'all would still want me to bring to the please use your napkin call?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, love the impact and the energy and like going out there and just, kicking ass and taking names and figuring it out on the way. Because believe it or not, on the contrary to what other people may believe, everyone that we look up to now that are doing it or has been doing it, guess what? They started the same way, right? It was just failing forward. And I can promise you, in this market that we're in right now, the faster you fell forward, the quicker you will accomplish your goals and dreams. It is what it is. Don't feel some type of way. Don't think, oh my gosh, now everybody knows that I messed up on this call. Listen, you messed up on the call like you're doing right now, right? Get your experience from it. So, okay, here's what I can do better. Boom, move on, right? Or you record the call, you send it over to us, we take a listen. Here's what you could do better. Boom, now you apply, right? So kudos to you on that. Now, so here's what I would say. The first thing is if someone says, okay, yeah, I'll send you the information, and they email you something, you're like, what the hell is this? Reach back out to the broker. The secret to this, guys, if you ever get in a position where you're just like, I don't know if they sent me the right thing, or you can do two things. The first thing you could do is you can call and say, hey, listen, I saw you sent me this other document. Wasn't really sure what you wanted me to do with it. I thought you were going to send me over the T12s and this and the third, right? Now, they may be like, oh, I totally made a mistake. I'm sorry, let me shoot it over to you, right? Or they could be like, oh, well, that's what we normally do with everybody. I thought you should know that, right? And this is where you get in front. This is the second thing you could do. You get in front of it. You say, okay, listen, I totally apologize. I'm the newest member on my team, and I'm in charge of building relationships with brokers and reaching out to brokers. So thank you for sharing that with me. So what exactly do you need from me on the form so I can send back to you so you can get me what I need to bring back to my team, right? There's never a situation that you're going to be in that either being upfront and say, hey, this isn't what I asked you for. Can you send me what I asked you for? Or just say, hey, I'm pretty new on my team. Could you give me some advice? Like what exactly am I supposed to do with what you sent me? Right? And I'm telling you, especially if you're dealing with a broker who's been doing this for some time, when they hear you say that you're new and you're on a team and they see you're taking action, etc., they will like just grab you and put you under their wing and just start pouring into you, giving you game. Or, just to be 100% honest with you guys, or they're gonna be like, I don't got time to baby a newbie. And that's good too, because you don't necessarily want to deal with somebody who has that temperament, right? Like, that's fine. That's not the only broker. Just say, hey, listen, totally understand. Not a problem. Thank you. And then move on to the next broker, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is answering the portfolio. Yes, you can bring a portfolio. Now, personally, when I look at portfolios, I tend to still look at the deals separately, because a lot of times what people try to do is they'll have two good deals and one horrible deal, and they take the horrible deal, put it in the middle, and be like, yeah, this is a jackpot. You're like, well, let me see. I like to underwrite each unit, or each separately, and then collectively, let me see if it all makes sense, right? So that way I can catch whatever they might be trying to hide. Now, sometimes they're not. Sometimes the seller's just like, look, if I'm gonna sell one, I'm gonna sell all at the same time. Just give me a big paycheck, right? Which is cool, not a problem. But a broker's job is to sell the properties, and their client is not you, but it is their seller. And so you have to do a due diligence and make sure that they give you everything that you need, and we'll underwrite all 3 or all 12. Like we had one, Ed did, it was 7 different units, like 7 locations, all around Ohio. And that was a headache, right? But out of that, we found only 3 of them were actually worth buying. So it got to the point now where it was like, do we really want to buy 7 in order to make something work? even though we know 4 of them would be more of a headache than we really want, right? So we reached out to the broker and say, listen, we're not really interested in all 7. Can we buy 3? And what do you know? They were like, well, yeah, send us an offer for the 3 that you want. Why is that? Because they know that they were trying to like put the trash stuff in with they were just hoping somebody would just buy all of them. But in this space, in this game, in negotiating, if you don't ask, you are definitely not getting it. Right? You got to be okay with asking and understand, listen, this is just part of it. It's not being aggressive or, like, why you need to know that? Because I'm about to spend millions of dollars, right? Like, I'm sure if you were going to spend millions of dollars, you would want to know those things too. All right, does that answer that for you?
Very, very well. Thank you. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Good. Yeah, so stay on top of that, get those details. And then as soon as you get in tomorrow night, raise your hand so you can be one of the first people we can bring onto the stage.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. No problem. My guy, Michael, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, bro? So, hey, bro, how you doing?
Man, hey, man, be safe, bro. You know what I'm saying? You on live too, so we're gonna see if it was your fault or if it was somebody else's fault. All right, so
right there you go. Luckily, I have a Tesla, so I can switch between autopilot and go.
There you go.
But no, I just wanted to thank Peter and Eddie. This is my first time engaging with you, so great work, brother. This is one of the most important calls for someone new in real estate investing. I wanted to kind of just highlight the fact that this is the opportunity for you guys to actually call brokers, get feedback, direct feedback in line with what is going to be one of the key factors that gets you deals in real estate. I talk to brokers every day. Peter knows this. That's one of my biggest strengths, developing relationships with brokers. If I could, I can call one now. I have a property I need to check on. And you'll find, when you talk to brokers, it's really about saying less, right? So you got to really prime them, get them to talk about, the property, tell you things and their answers. Like, for example, one of the young ladies on here said that, oh, well, it's a bad property. We don't have financials on it. That's like Eddie said, that's a key indicator that poorly managed. And when you look at those numbers and look at the details about that property, you're going to be able to say, okay, well, maybe I can find some efficiencies here and I can help this, use it to negotiate, a better options for closing that deal. And these are some of the best deals. So I implore you to pursue that. Also, I'm not sure if Peter, I'm not sure if you have the script for everyone, but that's a really good, Kickstarter for folks just to develop those relationships with brokers. The 2 things you want to do is 1, state your market, how many units, let them know what you're looking for. And then also, what I like to do is I like to prime for one property, maybe a dummy property, something I'm interested in, may not be interested in, but I always leave them with something, okay, contact me, put me on your list, this is what I'm looking for. So it gives them a very laser-focused market criteria to think about you in. And then also, another key thing that Eddie highlighted was, you're part of a bigger team, right? So part of this role playing, right? A lot of us haven't closed 4,000 or 5,000 units. However, you're part of a community and an ecosystem that has. And think about this. Once you get that deal, you're going to bring it to that community. So you very well, you can create as much, as you want to create your image and your avatar, right? To talk to these brokers. And again, you can always switch between being a new person to a team that you're basically sharing that you're new to the team and you're responsible for, like Eddie said, to go and establish relationships with brokers, or you can be that person where, okay, I'm just getting into a new market and I want to establish a new relationship with you. So it's all about, kind of filling the broker out, but making sure that you're not talking as much and letting the broker lead the conversation and you develop questions based off of the information he's giving. So I just wanted to commend Peter, as always. He's a good friend of mine, a good dear friend of mine. Eddie, you're doing wonderful. Guys on this call, if you can find a broker, call them. These guys will give you great advice on how to break through these barriers that prevent a lot of folks from getting started. So I'll stop there. I know I rambled a lot, but I just wanted you to just kind of force from folks to give calls to brokers. I mean, it's really the key, one of the key parts of this business. So thanks so much.
Man, appreciate it so much, man. Appreciate it. I know you're in the middle of driving and everything like that. So I really do appreciate you coming on and giving some game back. And definitely, man, we'd love to get you on while you're talking to a broker so we can give some real live feedback and example, to the people, and maybe have some questions that you can kind of give your insight on, especially in the part of building relationships, right? Which is something I know you do very well when you're working and talking to these brokers. So looking forward to being able to connect with you again on here, man. Awesome, awesome. All right, Jonathan, I'm gonna bring you up. But I have a question here I want to ask and get answered from Miss Maria. She said, hello, what is the proper way to request missing documents? For example, last 3 months of rent roll and other documents. I emailed the broker twice with no results. Should it be email or revisit the site where they usually have uploaded related documents for the property? Thank you. All right, so this is a great question. And I also want to point out something to you is you did an amazing job by following back up with the broker and emailing them. Not all brokers are created equal. People are people, and some people are busy, some people are not organized, some people are et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. We had a deal we were looking at. We must have reached out to this broker probably 9 times, and the brokers still have not reached back out. Now, why is that? Well, we don't know, but there's a lot of different variables that could take place. The seller might be pulling back out, and so therefore everything's kind of like a standstill right now. And so the broker doesn't want to necessarily scare any potential buyers away. So if I don't answer the phone and we don't have to have that conversation, you never have to find out, right? Now, is that a good thing? No, because obviously it's going to impede on the relationship that the broker could or be having with you. But the point I'm trying to prove is always reach out to the brokers, email, call, text, send a pigeon, send whatever it is that you need to be able to reach out to them, because it does 2 things. One, you're the one that want the information and the deal. Right? If you're dealing with a horrible broker, they're just going to sit on it, and therefore it's not going to make it worth your while. So you definitely want to make sure you get that. And the other thing is, it's about being aggressive, right? We need to be aggressive. We want to make sure that we are putting ourselves and giving out the energy to the world that we are looking for our first multifamily deal, and in 2023 we will get it. But that deal is not going to come to you because you just so happen to be walking your dog at the same time some other guy, and you randomly, he walks up to you and say, you look like a person who want to buy multifamily. It's not going to work that way, right? You're not going to be in Starbucks and some guy's going to turn around and say, I'm a broker, and would you happen to be Jonathan looking for multifamily deals? It's very rare that's going to happen, right? So you have to be aggressive on there. So what I would do is reach back out again, or try to call someone else in the office. Find out what office that he or she works at. Reach out to another broker and find out, like, hey, are they available? Or I've been trying to reach them, and kind of get a better understanding there. Maybe they have an associate broker that they can be able to get the information and data and et cetera that you need. All right. Perfect. Good. Melissa, what email did you email me at? I saw your message. I'm trying to send you a message back. Let me know what email you emailed me at, and I'll go take a look at it. All right, my guy Jonathan, what's up, bro?
What's going on, Ed?
Oh man, I'm fantastic. What you got going on?
I'm digging up here this video of me in Philly interviewing a whole bunch of people all over the city on how to say how you doing. I was going to share it with y'all so you could laugh, but it's okay. Anyway, so I'm only in the Florida market. I don't do anything outside of Southeast Florida. That's Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach. I'm done. That's it. So when we talk about multifamily, please make sure that whether you're telling me you're talking about syndications or not, because as we get into this kind of lower, smaller stuff, I mean, we're not doing syndications for that stuff. It's just regular transactions. So if you guys could all please be clear when you're talking about whatever you're doing, whether you're putting a syndication together, it's a larger thing, or whether you're just going after it, taking it down yourself or with a team or whatever have you. Anyway,
Very good point.
I had mentioned last night on the Freedom Chasers evening session that I am fine. I have been I have a great commercial broker. He's beyond great. He knows everything. He knows everyone. And his opinion is that, at least for the larger stuff, the syndicatable stuff, that it's to the competition is just too much, and that you're going to have to wait to see any kind of significant return, and it's just a matter of it there being demand. So what am I doing? So I'm just kind of adjusting what I'm doing. So now I'm looking at, okay, let me look at 8 to 30 units. Let me look at some smaller stuff, Little Havana, like what they were doing in North Philly and stuff like this, like
Yep.
Little Havana and parts of West Kendall and whatever have different, alternative places. So I'm not sure if you have some tips and some ideas for the non-syndicatable stuff where we're still dealing with brokers that could be residential or commercial. You don't know who you're going to get. The owner is going to be somebody. It's not typically going to be some big corporation. It's going to be some guy that bought it for his family or as an investment, Cuban, Haitian, whatever. It could be an immigrant, could not be. We don't know who it is. But they're just regular. They're going to be, the target market is regular people, is my point, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, as we focus on these different things, syndicatable versus not, let's look at the non-syndicatable. I'm just interested in to hear what your experiences are, if you're approaching it differently, some suggestions you might have, because I'm on the hunt for that.
Perfect. So I honestly think, Jonathan, that is a very, very smart play. I know a lot of people are in the 100+ space right now, and that's great, especially if you're part of a team. But one of the most smart, even with, my team this morning, we were talking and we were like, hey, let's focus on, 70 units, 80 units and under, right? And why is that? Because right now, you are going to have a lot more sellers, the mom and pops, who may be interested in selling and will be more inclined to sell creatively. And even if they're not necessarily there yet, like, yes, send me the contract, it's a great time to start the conversation and build the relationship, right? When you are doing, how many people here are coming from the single family space? If you have your camera on, just wave your hand. If not, just type in here, I am. All right, so all people who have the camera on, this is almost like half of you guys. All right, comments are coming in. Okay, so it's quite a few. So here's one of the things. Oh my gosh, Angie is in here. What's up, Angie? Here's one of the things that I want to make sure that we make clear. When you're coming from the single family space, it's very transactional, right? Like, here's my house, sell it, and then poof, be gone, right? It's pretty much nothing else. It's sometimes you may have some investors who may have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, right? And so that ends up being a thing. But when you're dealing with people who have 10 units and 15 20 units somewhere, or et cetera, those individuals oftentimes brought more than just that one. So maybe they don't have 100+ collectively, but they may have 20 right here, 10 over here, a 9 unit in some strange place or whatever like that. And in fact, I have a very good friend of mine who recently connected with a mom and pop seller, the same type of house that is a 20 unit. He told the guy what he was looking to do. The guy was already working and looking to start to exit, right? He's getting ready to start selling everything off. He said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk you through buying this first one from me. I'm going to sell you my first one. I'll walk you through it. And if you show me you can manage it, in another year, I will start selling you another one of my properties each and every year. So now this guy in the next 5 years or so will easily be at, 600 plus doors, and ended up getting a mentor, right? So I highly recommend it if that's what you want, because it's the same amount of work. I want to make sure I make that clear. Like, if you go and you're part of a team and you get 100 plus doors on one sit, or you get a 20 door over here in Georgia, you still gonna work the same. It's not like you're not doing less work because you have a 20 door than a 100 door. All right. So it's still the same work. It's probably gonna be less money because obviously it's not as many doors, but it's definitely a way to go. And you can either do it by reaching out to brokers, which is great. Like Jonathan was saying, I think reaching out to both commercial and residential brokers is smart, because a lot of that is going to be on the residential side. But also go to PropStream, go to Crexy, pull these lists, skip trace them, and reach out directly to the mom and pops. The difference here is the mom and pop that you called that own the multifamily, I can almost guarantee you'll be the first person that called them today. They're not getting bombarded by a bunch of text messages and phone calls and et cetera, et cetera. But you have to make sure that you are leading with value always, and you are trying to build a relationship, because they're not going to sell you their home, because this is direct to seller. They're not going to sell you their multifamily units to some random person that called them on a Monday at 3 o'clock. It's just not going to happen, right? But is it valid? Is it a really good source, especially in the market that we're in? 1000%, Jonathan. Especially because you're so niche in your marketing. I honestly would probably tell you, don't even waste time with the 100 plus. Go straight for where you're at right now, what you're trying to go for. Reach out to commercial brokers, reach out to residential, reach out to PropStream, and Crexy it's another website that allows you to be able to pull data, and you can actually target your data. So Crexy to me is like, it's the same thing as PropStream, but just for commercial properties. So you can actually go in, pull a criteria in a particular location like you want, John, and get a list of all the multifamily that may be corporate, or just maybe, believe it or not, there are some multifamily owners that don't even have it in the LLC. That's how long ago they brought the property, right? So first of all, one, ring chicken dinner, right? Just skip trace that bad boy and call them today. But also that just goes to show you how long they've had the property, and they might be ready to exit. A lot of times people think, well, no, they probably want to push it on to their family. A lot of times the family members do not want it. The kids do not want to deal with it, right? They've seen mom and dad become successful, but they knew how much work it took, firsthand experience, and they don't want to do that.
What was Crexy? Crexy? How do you spell that?
Is it Crexy? I think Ed just came in. Ed, are you here? I know Ed has some.
Because there's another one called.
CREXI.
Yeah, I've been here.
Crexy.
Crexy.com. Oops, I'm sending it to one person.
Oh, I think I know what this is. CR.
Well, the chat kind of did it for me.
There you go. So you can go
Crexy,
there.
yeah. Crexy, that's like another listing engine.
Yep. And you could, I mean, there's a bunch of these things that's out here, right? Privy is also good. Yeah, it's like LoopNet, but I think it might be a little bit better, to be honest with you.
There's another one that does. Have you heard of Visda?
I haven't. Ed, have you heard that one?
I'm gonna put this in here. Visda will give you. Here, I'm just kidding. This is what I was given. Putting it in there. So Visda is going to give you like data about the type of structure it is, the type of, like, if it's a 8 unit or whatever, if it's It's gonna give you some comparables, some comp rates. It's like, you know,
Okay.
some returns and stuff. I signed up for it. I found it from Steve Trang's podcast. It was mentioned there somewhere. And
Okay.
I kind of signed up for it. One thing I did want to add, Ed, if you could please add, is beside the fact that I need to know whether you put cheese whiz or provolone on a cheesesteak. That's
You,
gonna
you do
be,
both. That's true. You do both.
you're full of shit. Anyway, what I want to know is, what are some of the things that cause some of these owners, and I mean things that you might not think of, that cause these owners to want to sell? Like maybe they refinanced and now something's up, or there's a loan ballooning, these kind of things. What are some of the things that are coming up for these smaller owners or even larger owners, beside that, you know, beside I want to cash out my investor type stuff, like the
So this is a really good question, right? And it goes into understanding the mindset of a particular seller. I actually want to get Ed's take on it and Michael's, because I know they have a lot of feedback on that too. But I'll jump in real quick. So, and I'll just say one so that I don't mess around and say what they might say by accident. A lot of times, believe it or not, this is gonna sound wild, but a lot of times people are just tired of making money. Like, think of it like this. You were in your 20s when you bought this multifamily unit. You've paid it off completely. You've done all the work. You paid it off completely. It's been giving you money, and to the point where you forgot sometimes that you own the thing, right? You want to pass it on to your kids, but your kids don't care for it or whatever like that. And so for you, it's like, listen, I would rather just sell it to somebody else, maybe who's young and hungry and wants to do all the special stuff. I'll just take my money, I'll just go on the island somewhere. Or I'll just put it into, you know, whatever. Like you don't typically have that in single family because it's not a significant amount of money when they sell.
So you're saying that the driving force is that they want to do something else with their money. That's the force.
Yeah. They want to do something else with their money, right? Now, I know Ed and Michael's going to have some other stuff to be able to add on, but yes, Sean just said it. Remember, all the baby boomers are retiring. Their kids don't want the responsibilities of these properties. So it's really like, okay, what are we going to do? Do we keep this? Because here's the other thing too, right? Well, let's just keep it. Let's just keep it and keep making money. Well, liability still falls on them. If I just want to be like free of mine, like pay me my $100 million, and now I don't have to worry about that. I just got the money sitting in a bank account. Most people, when they're at that age and they've been doing it for so long, they actually rather that than the stage that we're all in right now, which is acquiring assets. Right? They've done that for so long. They're like, now it's time to be the bank, essentially, right? Like I always say, that I was talking to my kids the other day, and I was like, who wins in the game of Monopoly? And it was like the person that has all the property at the end. No, they don't. That's not the winner. The winner is the bank. As soon as the game starts, the game technically was over because the bank is the one who has the most money. And when you need a loan to buy property, you go to the bank. And when somebody goes bankrupt, the bank is who collects the money. So the goal of all this investing and everything like that is also to be able to have capital that you can now pour into making more money for you. And some of these individuals are going to be at that stage where they're like, look, let me take $100 million and give it to BlackRock. Let them worry about all that other stuff, right? Ed or Michael, which one of you guys want to jump in first?
I could jump in real quick. So I agree with what Eddy was saying, but also there's two other things that besides the balloon that you're mentioning. One is usually for the distressed property, it's the grass is greener on the other side. Like it's like I'm just getting out of my problem and go buying someone else's because they've either dug themselves into a hole. If they live far away, they aren't managing it properly, or the property management company isn't doing a good job. And it's just like I'd rather sell and either take my losses or pay the tax on it and just move on to the next one. But also the opposite of that is people are seeing opportunity outside where they're like, I can upgrade. If you've had equity build up, if you've had even if you didn't add much value to the property itself, if you bought it 10 years ago and you're realizing now that the market is a lot lower than it was last year, you're like, this is my last chance to sell before I am forced to hold this the next 10 years, which is a fear some people may have. It's like, hey, I don't want this 10 years from now, and I think the most I could get is today. Now I just want to get rid of it and hope I can get the most I can.
Can you Ed, talk a little bit deeper about the owner dug themselves into the hole? Like, what are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they dealing with? What can you get into that?
Yeah, so a lot of it does become if you ask, for example, the kind of a question that was asked a few times, if you can't get the appropriate documents, that's not the broker's fault. That's an owner issue. So the more struggle and more like teeth pulling it is in regards to getting financials and getting up to date stuff and getting photos or anything just about the property, you know that they're struggling with the property management company. They're stressed out by how much time it's taking away. It's not making money like it does month to month. On the paperwork, it may look like it is, but when you factor their other expenses, their time, the headache. So imagine, like, for example, I have a 6-unit here in LA, and we don't have a property management company. I manage it. It's 5 minutes from my house. This past month, it's caused me more problems than entirely last year I've owned it. Like, if I didn't have the ability, or if I just said, screw this, I'm fed up and wanted to sell it, I might break even, best case scenario. And I'd be okay with that if it was causing too much trouble. You know, sometimes you just want to cut your losses and move on to something else, especially if you were cash flowing in the meantime. It's like, I didn't lose. I made all this money over time. Maybe it's a 1031 exchange. There's so many different factors. But the biggest thing is really understanding and asking that question, like, why do they want to sell? They'll tell you better. And sometimes sellers, if you get them on the line, won't stop talking about the property. At times I'm like, all right, I get it. Like, I'll put an offer at whatever XYZ. But it's really about asking the right question, making sure the broker has that good relationship with the seller and can relate that to you. And then from there, you can capitalize on the opportunity and you'll know what holes to fill. Looking at a T12 will definitely paint the picture of where they're lacking in their processes.
Great, that's great, man. If there's anything else you want to add, any detail to because what I'm trying to do is create I don't want to call it avatar, but I don't want to call it persona, but you know, there's different people motivated for different reasons. And if we can talk to them in that way, we're going to do a lot better. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And it's like any time you're calling a seller in single family space or just anybody, every single person here is going to respond differently and is a different personality and whatnot. So it's really about asking either the broker or the seller themselves. It's what's the true reason? Like, how is the property management company asking the right questions? You know, is the loan due? Is maybe they're having personal issue that you don't know of that has nothing to do with the property. They can't handle it. I know one where this gentleman wants to sell because he wants to buy his family a home by where they live because they need something more as they like accessible to them as they're getting older, you know, or someone else fell off financial hardships and they need to help them out. You know, there's a million reasons under the sun. It's just building that relationship so they trust you to tell you, and then you can be like, okay, now I know how to help you, and we can.
Right, tired landlord is not a reason.
Yeah.
The issue is that they're either they don't want to manage it anymore because it's an effort issue, or it's a financial issue, like they're in trouble, or there's financial some kind of thing, or there's a lifestyle situation. Tired landlord is not a reason.
Yeah.
It's something behind that.
One more point, my last point on that is, if a broker says they don't have to sell, I wouldn't hesitate to ask, then why'd you list it? Because the broker had to take time and put his resources towards it. So it's like, if the seller doesn't have to sell, do you have confidence that you're actually going to make money on this deal? Like, I understand they may have a relationship, but it's like, hey, ask the question, like, okay, so why did they even think about putting it on the market? Like, you've gone far enough and thought far enough where it's like, I'm going to put this on the market. I'm interested in listening to offers. So if someone tells you they don't have to sell, then why did they list it? If it's just a fish for offers, then best of luck, I'll follow up. You know, like it's been on the market 4 months. Are they planning to change anything? Like, there's always a reason someone listed. It's just finding out what that reason is.
Awesome. Thanks, my guy. Michael, did you have anything you want to add, or did we cover it?
No, that was great by Edward. Edward, you laid it out pretty well, brother. Only thing I would add, I'll give you kind of a use case in my area. So, for example, market factors can also be a motivating factor for a seller, right? For example, there was I want to say 350 something odd unit property in Pentagon City. Everyone knows that Amazon is pretty much committed to Amazon headquarters 2 here in Virginia, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So just like Edward laid out, you know, they're just fishing for, you know, they were market sellers. Then, you know, with the idea of Amazon coming and boosting up the market, they're just fishing for, you know, to see what they can get, right? So you'll see a lot of things. You'll also see one thing I don't think I heard mentioned, still partnerships, right? So you'll have folks who JV on deals, so joint venture on deals. The partners go in different directions, and then they're forced to sell. Also, you know, a little deep dive into commercial brokerages. I'm kind of going fast through this because I'm driving, but you know, I'm just, you know, my mind moves kind of fast. Commercial brokerages. So something Eddy said a while back, you have with these deals and multifamily deals, commercial brokerages put whole teams behind these deals, right? So you'll have a lender side, you'll have you know, the broker side marketing the deal. You'll have other folks, you know, that are, you know, working directly with, you know, the connect everything and make everything move smooth to closing, right? You got to think, you know, these multi-million-dollar properties, they want to make sure that it gets to closing. So you'll see, and let's relate this back to motivating sellers. You'll see if, like, for example, like say CBRE, one of the biggest commercial brokerages out there, if they're holding a note and they hold the note for a lot of properties, they see when these loans, if they're in distress zone, right? And what they'll do is they'll put it on a schedule and they'll say, okay, they'll go to the owner and they'll say, okay, let's work something out. Let's get this thing out there. So that can also be, you know, an indicator. If you have a good relationship with a broker, you can help, you know, work with them in that relationship and ask them what things you see coming on the horizon, right? That may be distressed, or, you know, things that you're trying to get the sellers or your owners that own loans in your house are trying to get off the books. That's kind of like a pro tip right there, right? Because everyone knows this market is about to turn, and I tell everyone to get ready. But if you have those relationships with brokers, you can kind of target them in that way, right? And that's really about, you know, getting those relationships and them trusting you to be able to go to closing behind a team, you know, clean up their books, because they know that these you know, these holders of these loans, you know, will default, you know, going in the future. So hopefully that helped. You know, I just want to kind of give that perspective as well, because I mean, there's a lot of other ways that you can use these things to your advantage to, you know, approach brokers, approach sellers directly. So I'll stop there, and if anyone has any questions, you know, I'll wait for those.
Mike, can you talk a little bit about, like you said, that there was a place where you can find out what this like status is of certain loans? I mean, is that like something in an attorney's office, like Fidelity or something, or who has that? Because I'll team up with them.
You can ask the brokers directly. I mean, so there's other ways. I mean, so there's services out there, Property Radar, I think is one. There's other ones that you have to pay for, but I would just ask the broker directly, right? They'll give you, sometimes they don't give you the accurate information, but they'll get you in the ballpark. And a lot of questions I ask is, what's the guidance? What's the debt on the property? These are kind of standard questions you ask them, right? And they give you kind of, if they really want to sell this property, they're going to get you as close to that as possible. And then when you get those T12s, rent rolls, other P&Ls that are associated with the property, you'll get a very accurate depiction of what the actual property's health status is for that loan. So, you know, there's various other ways to do it, but I would approach from a multifaceted approach, and I would just ask the broker directly and then start to work from there.
Awesome. Michael, thank you so much. Jonathan, thanks, man. I got that link. I'm gonna check that thing out. I wanted to bring Peter up on here. If you guys are watching online, then you are just participating with us. But if you're on the Zoom, you're live in the studio and you get to really kind of go through everything and you get to see the chat. And Peter, you put something in the chat that I thought was really, really sharp. And this is what makes Pete Billionaire Pete, right? Like you can see how his mind operates. It's not just about the property or the prospect of one deal. Pete math is the best type of math. Okay, most people 1 + 1 is 2, and Pete is doing 1 × 1 is 11. So Pete, if you could break that down for us, that note that you just put in there, and explain how and why and when you would use that.
I'm gonna have to go break out my abacus and figure out how 1 × 1 is 11, but I'll work on that after hours.
You know how it is. When you
Yeah.
build in relationships and people are going to start pouring back into you because you're going above and beyond. And I really want to make this point because, again, a lot of us are from the transactional side of real estate, where it's just 1 house, 2 house. You know, sometimes you may have 8, but the odds a person is going to sell you anything more than that is a portfolio or something. And even then, it's just 1 transaction and you're done. Whereas you could be working with a broker and you've built a relationship and they are continuously pouring deals your way. You're buying deals, you're making sure that his family, her family get fed. It's a beautiful thing. So tell us a little bit about this note to broker that you got in here.
Yeah, so, it's one of the things it's frustrating about doing live calls, right? You can't count on reaching everybody or sometimes anybody. But I'm very excited at the fact that we have 55 people on here right now. Again, thank you guys for showing up. Please tell your friends, keep coming back. My friend Jose is joined us from his car. Be safe. Don't be looking at your phone, man. Stop looking at me. Keep your eyes on the road. Same goes for everybody else in their car. But so I was calling on this one particular property. It's actually outside the buy box of me and my team geographically, but it's an area that I'm personally very interested in. I have boots on the ground there, and it's Northwest Arkansas. And anyway, I called a couple of guys on this listing. Nobody's answering. And I thought, you know what? I definitely want to connect with these guys. I don't want to forget about them. So while I'm going to go over to LinkedIn, look them up. I did that real quick. And then I just connected with them. And of course, for those of you who use LinkedIn, and if you don't, you probably should. In this game, I think LinkedIn is definitely a platform we need to be using more of. I know I haven't been using it much, and I need to do more of it. Most of these brokers are going to be on there. You can often get their phone numbers there if you haven't found it somewhere else. And just connect with them, but don't just send a connection, send a message as well, right? Hey, I was whatever it is. And in this case, I said, my team and I are looking to expand. So he knows I'm not alone. It just that statement alone gives you a little bit of credibility, right? You have a team. I thought I would connect with you in case you have off-market deals. So I still wanted to reach out to me about the one specific deal that's on market, but I want to plant that seed that, hey, I'm looking for off-market deals. And then I'll follow up with him. Turns out I was thinking he was in Arkansas, right? Because he's got a listing posted in Arkansas. Well, there's 3 guys on the listing. One's in Alabama, actually, and another one is in Tennessee. Tennessee is one of my primary markets. So I definitely want to reach out and connect to that guy. What it made me think of on this call, again, the whole reason we did it is to try to overcome fear of making these phone calls, right? Well, if you're having one of those days where maybe you're not even afraid, you just aren't in a good mood, you don't want to talk to anybody. Cool. Spend an hour on the computer, do your research on Crexy, and just go connect with a bunch of these people. Connect with them on LinkedIn. Send, you can easily in an hour send 20, certainly 15, maybe 30 if you're really motivated, 30 connections, right? And in the connection message that you send, maybe you put your phone number right in there, right? Hey, give me a call if you get some time. And when they call you back, there's no pressure. You don't, you're not searching at a particular property, but you can, oh, somebody's got, what's up?
Hey, Nicole, how you doing? Good. I was actually just reaching out to you. I was doing my morning search and I saw a property. I'm just getting back to the office. I saw a property that you're representing over on 3751 Martin Luther King Drive.
Yes, I have.
Okay, is that still in play? Is that still available or no? It is? Okay, perfect, perfect. So I was reaching out. I'm here local. I know I have a 215 number. That's because my parents refused to leave Philadelphia. So, but but I am here in Atlanta. I have a team that we are looking to purchase some properties. And I saw this one. I like the area. I'm very familiar with it, but I wanted to get some more details, and I thought to just give you a quick call. Is the do you have a couple of minutes or no?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So is the whisper price on it is 180 per unit?
What's your price? 16 million.
Oh, it's 16. Okay, perfect. All right, so you put it down. 16 minutes. Do you guys already have a CFO set?
No.
No, okay. Could you tell me a little bit about it? Like what's the scenario? Like why is the seller looking to sell?
It's on bankruptcy.
Oh, it's in bankruptcy. Okay. It's already, this process has already been started or is getting ready to start? Okay.
It's already started.
Okay. And so this is part of the bankruptcy. They have to sell this particular property?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. All right. And so it's 16 million. Would you be able to send me some of the details as far as like updated?
Yeah.
Okay, got you. I know typically I've been making a bunch of these calls and typically brokers would send me like an OM and kind of had everything, but by any chance, do you guys have like the most recent like the T3 or a full year of T12 that's recent?
Not trying to get the most recent one.
Okay, how not recent is the T12? Last November. Okay, so it's not that bad. But yeah, if he could send that over, that would be great.
Okay.
And is
And
it
then I have the current rent roll.
oh, you do have the current rate. Okay, perfect. So that I can kind of work something on that. Now with this
Okay.
bankruptcy, does that all need to be taken care of at the purchase, or are we able to assume anything?
No, they're not able to assume anything.
Okay. All right, and so they basically want the whole thing, and the seller, so he's not gonna walk away with anything, huh?
Not much, no.
Oh man, that
Mhm.
sucks. Okay.
Right. But he will save his credit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Does he have any? And I feel really bad like asking this, right? Because I feel like I'm kicking somebody while they're down. Does he have any other properties?
No, not in bankruptcy, no. He has other properties, but they're okay.
Is he interested in selling any of them?
It's possible he has a couple townhouses, but I don't know if you're into townhomes.
Okay. Well, I am looking at. I mean, this is for me personally. I would be interested in some off market stuff. So it's possible that I could work, but primarily most of my time is just taken up with multifamily. So,
Right.
now what happens if he's not able to sell? I never purchased something from bankruptcy before. So what happens if he doesn't sell?
If he doesn't sell, then it just goes back to the bank.
So the bank would just seize it and it
Yeah.
messes up his credit.
Right,
Got it. Okay. So it basically works the same as it would on single family.
right.
Okay, got it. Okay. This is it. I'll text you my contact information. I just wanted to connect. I do like this property, so if you can send me that, I can start working with my team. I actually just gave my my partner Ed a look in the eye, so he knows something's coming his way.
Okay.
So he's the underwriter on the team. He's one of our underwriters. He's amazing. So I'll send that stuff over to him as soon as you send it to me. And do you have any off-market properties or anything like that?
No, I don't, not at this time.
No, okay. But I saw that you're in Douglasville. I used to live in Douglasville. Are you still there or no?
No, I moved, my office is in Dallas still.
Oh,
But
nice.
I recently moved, I'm in Alpharetta now.
Oh, you done came on up on us. You done left the countryside. Yeah, there's been so much growth that's been happening over there now too. So basically that's AKA taxes are going up. But yeah, no, I totally totally get it. Okay, I won't hold you too much longer. I definitely wanted to connect. It was a pleasure connecting with you. Hopefully, if we can get this one done, that'd be great. If not, I would love to continue to build the relationship and kind of see what else we're going on. So I'll send you my information and maybe we can connect on LinkedIn as well.
Okay.
Are you, this is more so for you before I let you go. Are you currently investing in multifamily yourself or no? Or any commercial spaces?
Not in,
No, okay, but you are in single family?
yeah,
Nice, nice, okay. We can definitely talk a little bit about that.
okay.
All right, I know you are a busy woman and I so much appreciate your time. So I'm be looking forward to speaking with you soon. I'll text you in just a few minutes.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye.
Boom!
All right.
All right, so this will be my last week with you all. Eddy has got the whole thing locked up. He's got the moderator job. He's got the call and broker job, and I'm no longer needed here. So it's good to see you guys. Have a great week. We'll talk to you later.
Pish posh. Listen, we
Holy
only switched.
cow!
We only
That was
switched
awesome.
because you were
Awesome. So
you were teaching and
I'm
educating.
gonna break that down a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh shoot! Did I lock up? I locked up. Unbelievable.
I can hear you. Can you hear Peter?
I can hear you.
I think Peter probably just got off for a quick second.
Am I coming back?
Yeah,
we
you
can-
good?
I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think so either. I'll shoot him a message on the side.
I didn't see it. I didn't see a part of the
Request for
package.
information, request for more info on the LoopNet lead on LoopNet. You see the
No,
little box that says request for info. If you put your name and email in there and request, it'll save your information. And then they'll put you on our email blast.
oh, so it's directly on your website.
And then my assistant will send you the offering book, with all the rent roll and everything.
Okay. All right. So while I have you on the phone, real quick, if I can kind of ask you about the property, what do you like most about it? I know it's kind of 4 different properties. And so I'm familiar with the Northwest area since my mom grew up in Gary. So I kind of just want to get your highlights from it.
Yeah, man. Growing area still. Rents are skyrocketing. A lot of jobs, job growth, industrial jobs, all different types of stuff. So definitely a nice spot.
Okay. And what's the whisper price on this?
It's listed at $5,250,000.
Okay. Just wanted to confirm that. And do you guys have a formal CFO?
Formal what?
Call for offer? Sorry.
Not really. No.
Okay. You guys are just kind of taking it as is?
Yeah, exactly. Just kind of waiting for the right guy.
I got you. Have you guys been getting a lot of activity on this here?
Yeah, man, pretty active in the area. I've sold a lot of different complexes nearby.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got a few. We got offered and such. Just nothing's really matched up yet.
I got you. So let me ask you this, Anthony, from your perspective, right? Because we don't know each other or anything of that nature. And I'm not sure if you worked with this seller before, but what's most important to the seller or the sellers for
Price.
these properties?
Price.
Price, okay. All right. Do you know is this a traditional or we're looking at something we could possibly assume in reference to their debt? No?
Assume what?
Their debt.
He doesn't really have much debt to assume.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, that would obviously be a good play right now. But I don't think he has much debt. He only has like less than $1 million balance on the whole thing.
Ooh, okay. All right. So I guess that would also eliminate a seller finance
Yes.
opportunity too. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna do a 1031 exchange. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That makes sense then if he's that close to it. Okay. All right, cool. No, I think that's helpful. And let me ask you this, since I have your information directly since you text me, so I appreciate that. I'll text you obviously my email address as well. Do you invest personally in multifamily properties?
Not yet, man. I'm trying to.
Oh man, what's the holdup?
Money, man. You know, but now I got it. So now we're looking.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Are you looking kind of in the Indiana area as well, or outside?
Yeah, I live in Dyer.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've been looking, certain deals around there, but it's a lot of competition, man. You know, so.
Absolutely. So you are you looking for like the 40 units and up, or kind of what's your play?
Anything, man. I'll do a house. I don't even care right now. So.
Hey, the market is changing in the buyer's favor, especially for single family.
Yes, man. That's what everyone's saying, but I don't see it yet. So.
It's coming, man. Trust me. I'm sure you probably pay attention to what's
Definitely the
happening.
residential. I mean, I've seen the residential
Yeah.
as far as pricing, but I haven't seen the commercial really make a move yet.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I'll send. You want me to send over what we got going on, what we're looking for in terms of our buy box?
Sure.
And can you send me as well in return what you're looking for? I'm always, glad to help out where I can. Right. It's all about communication and all about relationships. So.
Yeah, anything in Indiana, I'm interested in.
Okay. All parts. Doesn't matter if it's south of
Sure.
Indianapolis.
No, I love Indy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I used to live in Bloomington and work out in Bedford just after graduation.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
I went to Purdue and it kicked my butt. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I went to Purdue Northwest there in Hammond.
Okay. Yeah, I was out on West Lafayette main campus.
Yeah, sure.
So I'll say this: I don't miss the winters, but
Where are you now?
I'm down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, hey, look, I know you're a busy man.
So what do you do? You're investor?
Yeah, so I'm an investor. I'm the new guy on the team, man. We primarily participate in the Southeast. We kind of just locked up a deal recently within Tennessee, so we're looking to expand within the Midwest, right? So Indiana, Ohio, more so Indiana is our focus right now. Trying to deploy capital as soon as possible.
Okay, what do you guys have now?
So right now we've kind of locked in like a 50 unit down there near the Memphis area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cheap down there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 30 a door there.
Hey, yeah, you got to work with the price point, so that's kind of what we're targeting, right? Exactly, is taking advantage of those opportunities as they come. So.
Yeah, well, we're at 100 for one bed, so I don't know, man. This deal.
Hey,
but
it may not work on this deal, right? And I'll sign up, right, as you mentioned, to kind of do the quick napkin underwriting, but maybe future deals. And so if you have anything as well off market.
Into that loop net.
Oh yeah.
That way it'll my company will save all your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you have anything off market by chance?
Not really, man. I'm looking to build a pipe right now. I gotta kind of close everything out at the end of last year. So.
Okay. Well, hey, look.
Looking to build right now.
Don't lose my number. Lock me in.
No.
I appreciate it. I'll send over the information so I can kind of get a look at those financials so we can do some quick napkin underwriting here.
For sure.
And we'll just stay in touch.
Yeah, sounds great, man.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye.
Let's go.
Crushed it.
On a roll today.
Look at that smile, man.
I have a property for him. I got you, bro.
But there you go. There you go, Ed.
I have a 4-unit, seller carry.
Boom.
See that? So, and so the only thing I would have did differently, you killed everything. The only
Killed
thing I
it.
would have did differently was I would have, there's a point where you said, what do you need, basically, whatever like that. Instead of saying, and then can you do it in return? Like if you find something, send it to me. Don't even mention that. So there's a law of is a cognitive bias. That's called the law of reciprocity. There you go. I always mispronounce the word, right? And essentially, it's like if you're walking and you hold the door open for the first set of door open for somebody else, once they pass you, they're gonna say thank you. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna want to hold the door open for you. It's just naturally what human beings go through, right? So if you always lead with your value, there's a good chance he finds a deal, he's gonna send it back to you. That's the only small, like really nitpicking, like Eddie's being a jerk, he killed that call. That's the only thing that I would have changed, right? But even better is Ed finding you a deal. I would wait maybe 2 hours. Then I would give him a call back and be like, hey, what's your email again? I had some on my team do some research and we found something that you might like. Just wanted to give it to you. Like that, like you become, here's how you know you're having a good call. When they start asking you questions, you got it, right? In the beginning, you were the one talking and et cetera. And can everybody that was listening to the call, can you agree there was a point in time, like if you agree, put it in the chat. There was a point in time where you heard that it switched and he was just all about you, dude. He was like, so tell me, what else, boom. And then you kind of got a feeling when he switched back to being like the broker again, when you mentioned the price, and he was like, yeah, well, we're at like 180, right? Because he wanted to make sure that the relationship, the friendship he was building with you wasn't going to cut his money short, right? Because he can't sell it at a low price. But that's when you killed it, man. That's when it happened. And so now all you have to do is make sure you continue to build the relationship, reaching out, connecting, hey, next time you're in Atlanta, let me know. We go out, you drink, or whatever it is that you do. And I promise you, that is a guy who's going to like always have you in his back pocket as the cool guy, right? Like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So good job, man. Like you knocked it out the park.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. But I didn't mean to cut you off either, all right? Because I want to kind of get the recap of your call too.
No, listen,
I heard a little bit. So
this is what this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a call, you just start fire flagging the hell out of the screen so we can throw you on, because I promise you, the 50 plus people that is here right now got more value out of listening to you make that call than us talking about the review of a call that just happened, right? We want the activity to come. Like when Peter and I have talked, there's a point in time where this thing is going to be buzzing with so many phone calls that it's not going to be all of us in one room. We're just going to have separate rooms, right? And we're okay with that because that's going to be so much activity on a Monday afternoon that there's no way we're not closing deals. It's impossible. We're doing what is supposed to happen. And broker outreach or seller outreach, to Jonathan's point, we were talking about earlier, is the first step. Everything else that you guys are doing, it means nothing if you are not reaching out to brokers or reaching out to sellers directly and building the relationships that it takes to get you the deal. Remember, 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 × 1 is 11, and that's what you're looking for. That's Peter's math, by the way. It's not mine.
That's how I got to his billions. Just multiply it however you feel like.
There you go. There you go. So,
I love it. I definitely loved it. I agree with Eddie. You do notice, like at one point, he was like, "Oh, this guy might be able to help me now." Like, because I'm pretty sure no one's ever asked them. You can tell there's like a little bit of that surprise. Amazing call. Actually, because he seems like he doesn't know what he wants to invest in, I would maybe be like, hey, like, are you interested in 4 units or commercial units? Like, I do this. Like, become the expert now where he's trying to learn from you. And then that way he's going to start asking all those questions again, like Eddie was mentioning. And then all of a sudden you have them on your team, like, hey, do you have someone who does your underwriting? Like, how do you underwrite deals? Obviously, those are questions you can save for future, but it's good to be like, okay, let me know how you think, so I know that, hey, they may even do the underwriting for us now. You know, hey,
Right.
this is right. Or maybe they just don't like underwriting. Cool, go reach out to sellers. Like, let's work together. And you built a foundation for that relationship, that you have someone that's on your team that you're not gonna have to pay up front, you know? And what if we reach out to sellers out there and we can't buy? Like, the numbers just don't work, but it makes sense to try listing it on the market. Get a referral fee from the broker. They'll pay that out all day. I'm a broker in LA. Someone called me like, hey, I got this listing for you on a silver platter. Give me 25 or 40%. Hell yeah, I'll do it. I gotta be crazy not to, you know? So you built that relationship where you can also capitalize on that end too.
No, I appreciate it, Ed. Thanks, man.
Great call.
Any other feedback? Peter?
Absolutely. And Jonathan, we're going to get to you in just a minute. I appreciate you raising your hand, but I've got to jump in here just for a second. I'm going to be a little bit of a jerk like Eddy thinks he was too. Just you know,
I'm with it.
and I'm lying, but when he said, you know, when you found out there was very little debt, and I got on late. So what was the value of the property? What are they asking for it?
5.25.
Okay. So $1 million in debt, pretty small amount of debt, not an assumable opportunity. Perfect. Don't, just because there's high equity, don't assume there's not a seller finance opportunity, right? You basically told him that there's no seller finance opportunity. Not necessarily true. Now it sounds like in that case, probably isn't. He's looking to cash out for a 1031 exchange. But on another call, I might revisit that. Just, you know, I mean, get the numbers, see if it's even in the ballpark of going past the napkin. And if it is, LOI might include some level of seller financing. Doesn't mean financing the whole thing, right? That could just be a piece of, we'll put 2.5 million in debt on it, and then we need you to carry, whatever. So there's always a possibility for seller financing. Don't rule that out. The other thing I want to point out, I mean, the whole thing was absolutely amazing. This is what this is all about. This is you just gave me my win for next Sunday night's Multifamily Freedom Chaser Zoom. I will have my hand raised first, and I will talk about this call. And I want you right next to me with your hand raised so you can talk about this call.
Absolutely.
I mean, to see other people stepping up and doing this is so awesome. I can't even believe it. I was so excited about Eddy's call because he executed it perfectly. And then I get booted off, and I come back on, and you're on there crushing it, maybe better than he did. That was beautiful to watch. But one of the pieces that I really want to point out is you asked him if he's an investor, if he's also looking to invest in deals.
Yep.
My guess is you would not have asked that question if you hadn't just heard Eddy model that. Is that a fair statement?
Fair statement, 100%.
So I hope everybody caught that, right? We're here, we're all learning as we go. And he learned and he executed right away. And there's so many things you did, Eddy, on your call. Holy cow. I mean, and you both did, right? You both made that connection. Oh, I went to school there. Oh, you moving up in the world. You should have pointed out that she moved next door to one of your partners, but you failed to do that, but that's all right. And I lost it. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Stop the video. If I stop the video, maybe that'll help. But anyway, take it away. Jonathan, ask your question.
Jonathan, let me bring you on here, man. Good job to everybody, man. Just killing it. Jonathan, do you have a question or something for Darryl, or just something else?
Well, what I wanted to do was I wanted to know if I could make a call. I have 4 replies here, and I was willing to make a call.
Yeah. So typically we're done at 3:30, but because you have a call, we're going to keep this thing going. Let's go ahead. Let's make this call.
All right. So I'm also going to share my screen here. If you guys
Hold
permit
on.
me,
I would have to give you ability to share. Hold
let me
on.
Why
share
you
so
guys-
that I can, so you can all hear the conversation.
While you guys are doing that real quick, I'm gonna answer this question by Susan. The CFO's call for offers. Reason why that's important is because you want to make sure you know when they're expecting offers and if they have received any yet, because that'll gauge, that'll tell you what the market kind of thinks of the price point. If it's been on the market for a long period of time, they don't have a deadline, they're kind of like hoping something comes in at their ask price. Or you could, if they tell you they have multiple offers, you know how to kind of how much effort or kind of what your strategy is when approaching that deal. And then the deadline, of course, is you don't want to find a great deal, be like, yeah, I'll send an offer, and then you missed the deadline because you didn't know about it. 1031 be creative. Ooh,
So that one's a little bit tricky. It can be creative, but not in the way that we are accustomed to thinking of creative. It can be creative by doing what's called a reverse 1031, which is something I was doing some research on this weekend.
So
Which
that's
is
one more,
say it again.
that's one more thing I wanted to harp on.
Go ahead,
The-
go ahead.
the biggest component of that is, do you know or has the seller identified their next property, or are they 1031ing just for the taxes? That's a very important question to ask when the broker or anyone says 1031, because if they're just hoping to find something, you have to factor that into your timeline. If they've identified something, that's something else you have to factor in your timeline, because now your turnover period is going to be a lot quicker than a traditional sale. So I hate the answer depends, but it really does, because there's so many factors.
Yeah.
Anytime 31 is mentioned, always ask, is the next property identified? How much of the proceeds do they need from this sale for the next one? And is it one property? You could 1031 5 properties and meet the same requirement. So don't let it, there's gonna be a lot more questions once that is brought up. And if it's a
But
tax,
it's one of those things that it is going to take a deep dive. I think that might be one that we do kind of go in a little bit deeper on. Jonathan, you can go ahead and start dialing.
yeah, start the call. I'll
Okay,
shut
and
up.
by the way, I did add, in case you all want to know about a 1031, I just put a link in there to my website where it talks about what it is, so you can understand a little bit better with references.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna make this call real quick. If you can't hear anything, let me know.
If it's dialing, we can't hear anything. Now we can. Can you put the property back up for us too?
Please leave your message for 7, 8.
Let me call the next one. I got 4 of them.
All right, cool.
All right, give me 1 sec. Eric, 231. There we go. All right, that one didn't work. Try this one. 1561. Notice the velocity here, guys. See how quick I'm doing this?
Pushing through.
This is Pamela.
Hey, Pam, how are you? John Asbell, I'm an investor. How are you?
Good, good.
Good, good. I'm the one that sent you the email and you said it wasn't historical and all that stuff.
Oh, yes, Jonathan, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So let me tell you, it's not historical. It was completely restored, electrical, mechanical. So it was restored
behind the walls, everything, every wiring, every nail was measured, and along with that, the 40-year certification. So is this going to be for you or for someone that you want to has looking for an investment?
I mean, we're in a team of investors. We're all prepared and making offers on stuff that seems to make sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to tell you the history. So this one was almost a condemned building. We came over, we saved it. There was liens, there was taxes. 98-year-old lady left it abandoned and all that. So these people had to come in and completely come and redone and regut and pay everything there. It took them more than 2 years to get it done. They were not in a rush because they just wanted rental income. These guys are from Argentina, 3 brothers, and Australia. They're developers going out of their main business, which is huge business. And
Is
they
that the
just wanted
guys
to
that
step
built
into
all
the-
that stuff up in Midtown and in Wynwood? Those guys?
No. These guys are smaller. They do big buildings in Australia, but they did a small, they did the Visa building, entire Visa building in Argentina. No, they just wanted to do something small. So what the guy did, the one that's here is an architect, and he loves homes. That's what he does. So one of the brothers, his daughter died, unfortunately, 45-year-old, and it was a big shock. And when that happened, he said, you know what? I just don't want to have anything. I don't want to take care of any business. I'm done. I don't need this. I can travel in my yacht all over the world, whatever. So these guys took their time. They didn't go cheap. They did the basics. They did new appliances. We put washers and dryers. And I picked out the building.
Washers and dryers are
because of-
permitted? Are they allowed to have that in that building?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because they went down. They completely went down and gutted it, kind of gutted. They went through the whole thing with permits and all that stuff. Washer, dryer, new water thing. So, you're not going to have to move anything in 10, 15 years because it's all up to code, all new. Every single mechanical thing, every single wire of the plumbing and electrical, it's brand new. They came and measured the nails that go in the door. This one is not going to go through all this revision like all these other places are going to do. And the construction you won't be able to do the construction within what they did because it's just very costly now. So the building is going to, you won't get any expenses, or you're just going to get higher little cap rate. You'll always have that income. These are units that if you want to sell individually, you can get them later, get the folios and sell them individually if you wanted to. And it's just a block away from Lincoln Road. It's pretty nice.
So I'm looking here at the tax record. It looks like it's zoned for multifamily, 10 units, both the land and the building. When you say that it could be sold individually, obviously we'd have to get all that,
Yeah, if you want to do in the future, because that's what they wanted to do originally, because all of the units have their own AC. They did it. They did everything. So for each unit to go on their own. I
see. And so it says here that they bought it in 2018. Is that right?
2018. Yeah, 5 years ago. Yeah, but I'm telling you, this was okay. So I'm going to tell you, the guy that bought it, we bought it within 24 hours. And the thing is, this guy needed cash. He didn't care. He needed a certain amount, whatever it was. We gave that cash so he could actually sell 3 buildings. And he had already sold 2, and he actually wanted this one to do what exactly we did. But this guy needed $1 million, or I don't know how much he needed, whatever the sale of the building was, for him to go and get in Fort Lauderdale a huge building, which was a great opportunity. The only way he could do it was when he was selling this other one to get the cash. And this guy said, I need the cash now. I'll give you the opportunity. So he got the opportunity for Lauderdale, and we got the opportunity at the beach with that amount.
So are you guys now the owners? Is that what you're saying? The brokers are the owners?
Well, no, not me, my friends.
Oh, okay, I see. So these people that are buying this, who bought this are your friends?
Yeah, and these guys were like, Pamela, find us something very unique. We got all the time in the world like this. And so, but my friend, who I'm in residential, but my friend who's been in the business for more than 25 and the dad 35, he knows all over the Cubans and this and that. And these guys have the buyers they're always looking for the Cubans to sell to them, and they have the buyers, and that's what they do. But I said, listen, I have someone. I know you always have off market stuff. As soon as you have something, tell me. And he called me because there was somebody else that wanted it, and they'd rather deal with me because he knew me, and my buyers were qualified to do the deal in 24 hours.
Great. So what is the timeline of these guys? What are they trying to do with the proceeds now?
Nothing. Oh, well, see, they're just going to split it between the three brothers, and the architect who's here who actually did all the floor plans, because we got every single structural architecture plan. We can provide that if you guys are serious. He's an architect. We already have a piece of land. He's going to build a house, and he's going to start building homes, because that's what his passion is.
Okay. And are they planning to 1031 this, or because there's going to be a huge tax on this?
Well, no, I don't really think so, because the brother is just not, the brother who his daughter just passed away. He's like, I just need this, and he doesn't want to think about real estate anymore. That's
fine. Well, let me ask you, and I don't mean to pry, but maybe there's a donation I could make. What happened to her? Was it cancer or something like that?
No, so it was just, it was all of a sudden. What happened?
Because if it's a donation that if he's created something, I could make part of this transaction something in her honor, but we'd have to talk about, we just have to talk about what that is. We can get to that later. I just wanted to know what it was.
You know what? He told my brother, Ricardo told me, because it was all of a sudden, and then he had a big problem with that he couldn't move because he was in Australia, and it was during COVID, and he had to go all the way to Japan to get to Australia. It was a mess. But I'm gonna ask them. I forgot. But
so they have no debt on the property?
No, zero. No debt.
Okay.
Zero debt.
So let me ask you this: would they be willing to do a strategy with me to avoid the tax? Unless they want to give all this money, they're going to give $1 million to the U.S. government. I don't know why they'd want to do that.
Goodness, that would be crazy. Well, I would love. Well, listen. They're open to hear about it. These guys are super easy. My guy is super easy, and they're chill. They're very straightforward. They're easy people to deal with, especially the guy that's here we're ready to just build I got him a really good deal, a piece of land for $1 million right on the beach here.
Right.
And that's what he wants to do.
Well, I want to help you do that. And I can help you do that if we can figure out how to structure this correctly.
Okay. Do you want to meet? Do you think by Friday or Saturday or Sunday, do you have something we could talk about it?
We can not only talk about it, I'll be there. I'm up
Sure.
in Palm Beach, so I just drive down there every week anyway, looking for property. So this would be great.
Oh, that would be awesome. Well, you tell me what day is better for you. Let's try to do something anything after Friday, so I could sit down and be there, because I got to get myself on a plane tomorrow to New York. And I'm back on Thursday night.
Can you do me a favor? Can you please
Sure.
ask them if they have prepared for the taxes that they're going to get, and if they'd like to avoid them, and if they're open to financing a portion, if not all, of the purchase, so that they get a payout every month, which gives them the opportunity to offset the tax. Could you ask them that?
I'll ask them that. But the only thing is, they put in at least there's $3 million of just cost.
Right.
And I'm sure they want to see all of that out, But anyway, let me ask him, and then I don't think it's going to hurt to sit down with him and try to go through something that makes sense for everybody.
Yeah, I'm happy to work it out. And I'm sure we can work out something. I'm hoping we can all come to terms.
Listen, it's such a nice property. They had no intention of selling it, because they really put a lot of time and look, and it was really nice. They did, and I got to tell you something. The layout of that property, let's say the 600 square feet, feels like it's 750. You don't feel it. I personally picked that one out because I said, wow, this is no way that this measurement is like that. And the way it is, it's such a cool little building that is going to last like, wow, for a long time.
So is it currently rented or is it fully rented?
Yeah. Like literally within less than, I don't know, I think within January, they already rented 8 of them. There's 4 units pending, and most likely they're going to, oh, I'll send you, you didn't get anything. I'll send you the whole rental, the operation costs and all that. Okay. So,
don't forget 2019, 2020 doesn't mean much. It was a wash year with COVID. 2019, 21 and 22 are going to tell me what I need to know, if that's okay.
Yeah, well, he just finished the property like late December, literally November, December. We were waiting on some big pieces to come in, and so he started putting them out for rent, I think.
You there? I lose you? Hello? I think I lost her.
Man, you were killing that call.
Lost her. I recorded the whole thing.
She wanted to sell you that bad boy today. You understand me? Like,
Eddy, she's praying that her customer wants to sell it to me.
oh, absolutely. She's like, oh, I found me a whale. We're gonna sell this. I've never seen, yeah, Sean said she was definitely working. I've never seen now this is the first time you've spoken to her, right? Like on the phone?
Yeah.
I've never seen a broker work so hard to sell a deal. Like, it was beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah, she got the relationship with the people. She's not a commercial broker. Her eyes got zeros in them, like with the X's.
Yeah, for sure. But also, look, man, I gotta make sure that you get your flowers too. You made her so completely comfortable that she was willing to be able to be on the phone with you and give you everything and then some, to the point where she was like, hey, when can you want to link up? Like, she was ready for you to kind of hit that maybe 30 seconds before you got to it. You know what I mean? It's like, she was like, what, you want to get on the phone with them? Like, what do you want to do? Right? Very, very good job. Everybody that's in the chat, man, tell me what you guys thought. How did Jonathan do on this call? What kind of feedback could we give? If anything, I think there's always.
And by the way, it's not all that flowery. I mean, here's another call that I did that doesn't work out so well. I don't know if you can hear it, but here it goes.
Yeah.
Hey, is it Pete?
Who's this?
This is John. As I had called you a few months back about that house that you have on Andros.
What about it?
You're selling, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we had spoken a couple months back, I had asked if you might be able or be interested in taking payments for it. You weren't ready for that, and maybe you are. I don't know.
Hey, listen, man. I'm going to tell you one last time. Drop my number. Lose my number. Next time I'm be vulgar. Okay? Don't call me again. You hear me?
Yeah, I don't know what that's about.
Okay, I'll put it another way. Fuck off and don't call this number again. All right?
So just in case you thought it was all roses,
right?
I just want you to know.
In case you thought it was sweet, you know what I'm saying? I love that call, by the way. That was a great call. Here's the crazy thing, right? As soon as that call was done, I would have it on my calendar for follow-up. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to call him back. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be great. Great job, man. Great job.
This is a G-rated program, so we can't have him on this program anymore.
Well, all right, we'll call him offline. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We'll call him. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Listen, we can do one of the bleeping things, right? So as soon as it gets crazy, we just bleep real quick. Jonathan, great job, man. Definitely follow up with that and let us know what's happening. Here's the other great thing about this, right? Like, let's say this was a deal. Jonathan's like, yo, I'm ready to go. There are people that's on this call that be like, Jonathan, if you need some money for that, like, I'll jump in there with you, right? Like, one of the keys to growth and success is to surround yourself around the individuals that are either going to get you there or pull you up, right? And I don't necessarily mean like they're going to do something for you, I mean, they're gonna make you so uncomfortable by being around them, and they're doing work and you're not doing anything. Right? You can be like, oh, I gotta do something. Let me look, John got cursed out and he recorded it. Let me go at least get cursed out. That's the least that I can do, right? Somebody give me a FU today, that's the goal, right? In fact, if you haven't made a call since we've been doing these 6 episodes, I have homework for you today. I want you to call a broker or call a seller, and do not stop until you get cursed out. That's the victory that you will be able to claim. And I promise you, any call you make after that getting chewed out, you're a boss. Like there's this fear that naturally just goes away, which makes sense now why Jonathan's on the phone, like, hey, hey, and people just feel so comfortable because and that picture you had was a great picture. If you can send me that picture, that'd be great. Jonathan, thank you, man. Appreciate you. All right, we are a little bit over, which is perfectly fine because it was amazing, and all of you guys stayed, and that's even more amazing. I do want to give quick feedback on the deal that I called in Atlanta. And let me just share this real quick. So here's the deal that I called in Atlanta, right? And I want to show you guys something. So this is the one right here. Always do your research on your brokers. It helps you to understand the type of conversation that you need to or want to have. And for example, if I click on Nicole, right? I can come in, and there's another way you can actually just type in an agent's name and you can see all of the work that they've done, like where they sold properties, where they haven't, and et cetera. It's like their resume. But if I come here, I'm like, okay, and I'm looking, I scroll down, all I see is houses. So what does that tell me? Is Nicole a broker that does commercial, or is this more so somehow she got stuck with this commercial property? She's more in the realtor space. She's an agent, right? And it makes even more sense because this particular property is bankrupt. So somewhere along the line, probably someone in her office got this and was like, I'm gonna kick this down to Nicole. Hey, Nicole, here's this. You got to try to sell it, right? Now, how does that help us as far as negotiation? I don't know yet, which is going to be interesting. I can't wait for Ed to dive in deeper on this one so that we can kind of see what's going on. She already sent me the info, and Ed, you'll get that email in like 10 seconds. Because I believe I looked at this before. That's the last thing I wanted to add. I looked at this deal before. I think we underwrote, I did a napkin on this before. And at the time, the seller did not want to sell it. He wanted, remember I asked him for the price and I said, is it at 180 per unit? And she corrected me and she said, no, it's 16 million. They dropped down 2 million because they're in bankruptcy. Now, we either have 2 options here. Either we can make something work, or we can go pick this up directly from the bank. So there's all these great opportunities. Please make sure you are putting in the work. This is a marathon. It's not about the sprint. It's not about getting out the door and you get your 100. Look at my guy. It's a billionaire dog right there. He doesn't even know it.
My daughter just showed up.
Awesome.
This is my granddog.
Awesome. Perfect timing. Is that called a short sell? Not necessarily, but that's a different thing. But it wouldn't necessarily be a short sell. Are we interested in single family portfolio? Absolutely. So listen, I'm about to put all of the things that I'm interested in. And obviously, we're all here working together as a community, as an ecosystem. I'll put my contact information so you guys can send me some stuff. I do want to make sure that we remind you all tomorrow night is napkin underwriting. All right. Make sure you come on to learn. Make sure you come on to be able to bring your deals. You talk to a broker today, bring it over. We will napkin underwrite the thing. Make sure you have all the stuff that you need. It's going to be great. And then this week, are we doing debt broker? Is that this week or next week?
Yes, we
This
are.
week. All right. So, man, this is a jam-packed week. So here we go. So tomorrow night, we have napkin underwriting, 8 p.m. And then on Wednesday, we have debt broker conversations. Basically, this is where you learn how the money comes into play. You got the deal, you underwrote the deal. Sounds like it should be for an elevated napkin underwriting. Sounds like it should go from napkin underwriting to elevated underwriting. Perfect. Okay, while they're doing that, now it's time to think, okay, well, what about the money? How do we actually afford this thing? That's where Jerry and his wife comes in and goes through exactly how to be able to do so, right? How to be able to find the money, how much you can actually afford to get on this, all the details, all right? And then over the weekend, we know Marcel and Trevor and some of the other of the multifamily freedom chasers are going to be in Houston doing an event. And yeah, Jerry is awesome. That dude is freaking amazing. And they're going to be doing an event with golly, now I got his face and not his name now. The rock star of multifamily. Robert, thank you. Robert Martinez is going to be there, and they're going to be doing an event. If you guys are not following them on social media, please do, because they plan on doing a lot of live streaming and trying to give you guys as much game as they possibly can. But here's the real benefit. The real benefit is on Sunday night, they're going to be doing live with Robert Martinez for our activation Zoom. So this whole week is jam-packed, right? We're doing all the things. Make sure you are plugged in. This is your community. This is your ecosystem to be able to get better and do great things. Again, I put my information in the chat. Ed put yours in. Peter just put his YouTube channel. Please go subscribe to his YouTube channel. You'll be able to catch all of the calls, all of the things that we've done on his YouTube channel. I have my little thing, look, wrong side, right here. If you scan this, I think it does something. So just scan it and see what it does. I think it gives you all of my contact information and details as well. And yes, if you go to the Freedom Chasers Multifamily Facebook group, you will see the link and everything there so you can join, but we all post it. All of us will post it. You'll see it on our Instagram, where you can be able to sign up and make sure that you don't get left out. So if you're following us, you'll see it come up. If you're not following us, you should probably just follow us so that you can be able to catch it. All right. With that being said, I think we're all good. Peter, you got anything you want to end this out with?
That's it, guys. Just appreciate you being here. I can't believe we had almost 40 people here 2 hours in. And we just look forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks for all the positive feedback. Please go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Get connected to the Freedom Chasers. Plug into this ecosystem. Everything is to do your first deal is right here, guys. Stay connected. Keep coming back, and we'll see you we'll see you tomorrow night.
There it is. See you tomorrow night. Make sure you connect with us. Here's my contact information there. Love you all. Be safe. Stay charged up and keep the good fight going. This is the way. Peace.
Peace.